Trauma. Trauma is something that more than 70% of adults in the US have experienced at least once in their lifetime. To put that into perspective, that is 223.4 million people. Staggeringly, the World Health Organization estimates that 40 million children below the age of 15 fall victim to violence each year. The number of people who are being exposed to and living with trauma is shocking. The concept of trauma varies according to the gravity of the violence and one's personal experience. The results of trauma can leave one heavily scarred, resulting in medical and psychosocial consequences that can last a lifetime. But what if? Trauma doesn't look like one thing. It can be sexual or physical abuse or neglect. It can be the death of a parent, a divorce, or not feeling like you fit in, or the first moment your parents, whom you believe to be fair and protective, betray you. The instant that they prove you wrong, a bit of your innocence is lost. First you deal with the surprise, and then you learn to adjust to the reality of being unsafe. But as children, we need to feel trustworthy love to deal with the untrustworthy world. But what if?
Early relationships, where there is abuse and neglect, have a long-term impact on children. A brain that has adapted to survive in a threatening or unpredictable world may not work so well in an ordinary environment. This can create what is called latent vulnerability, where early abusive or neglectful experiences with carers put children at greater risk of experiencing mental health problems in the future.
It's a big responsibility. I don't think people really grasp the severity of being, abandoned as a child. It's detrimental, yeah.
From childhood to adulthood, we bear the burden of our trauma and the trauma of the generations before us. We carry our pain with us, and the feeling of hurt and heartache becomes normalized. For many of us who have been traumatized, we see the wounds of our past start to heal over, and we think, I'm fine. Then we seek out and attract into our lives people and situations that rip off the scab of the wound, only to uncover that there's an infection underneath that needs attention.
Experiences of domestic violence or physical abuse can lead to hypervigilance, where the brain reacts more to threat. This might help a child stay safe in an early adverse environment, but it can cause problems in more ordinary environments.
So used to this pain, we keep tricking ourselves into thinking, I'm okay. But each relationship, bad job, argument, and tragedy leads us to further question ourselves and lock into our brains and hearts the belief of being unlovable and not worthy of more than the pain we already know. But what if? People who have been traumatized often go through life unintentionally hurting themselves and others. It's not because they're bad, but because they believe that much of the badness resides outside themselves.
Let's just say, I'm not in the right, I'm not in the happiest mood, I'm not, something's not, and I'm pushed the wrong way, I will lash out violently.
Following trauma, negative memories appear to become more salient, which means they become more prominent than positive ones. And everyday memories can also become less detailed. This is a problem because we need to draw on past experiences to help us deal with new social situations.
Ultimately, traumatized people become much like those who hurt them the most. But what if? What if there was a way to help trauma heal? What if you could change the brain's neurosynaptic connections and create new responses to old paradigms? What if we could teach people to deal with the stress of life using more emotionally intelligent responses? What if we could mitigate depression, suicide, mass shootings, and overtly destructive behaviors? What if we had happy teachers and parents, healthy relationships, and a more loving world? What ifs no longer exist with KideoTech? KideoTech creates programs and courses using simulation and technology to embrace and support teacher, parent, and student performances in areas such as coping skills, relationship building, leadership, and classroom and behavior management. Our courses in technology will positively modify negative thought patterns using cutting-edge methodologies, the latest psychology, and brain science research to create lasting changes that foster meaningful connections and self-advocation, along with the development of personal and global awareness. Many people find themselves reflecting on and stuck in what-if scenarios. KideoTech helps break the what-if cycle in all of us.